In this video, I want to do a quick little comparison on what these jars look like once they're opened up. These tomatoes were canned 2 different ways. So right now, today, it is the middle of July in 2023, okay? So the first one that we want to compare is this jar. This jar was canned July 2021, so it is 2 years old. And this jar, these were both water bath canned. The same amount of processing time, everything was the same. The only difference between the two was this jar is the old way that I used to can tomatoes, where you would have your whole fresh tomato and you would blanch it and peel the skin off and then proceed to can it. This way is how I've been doing it now. And that means I take the whole tomatoes, I freeze them, and then when they thaw out, the skin naturally splits, and then, I can the product that way. And I do have a video series, I think it's like 3 or 4 part series on how to do that. If you're interested, I'll link that below. But in this video, I do want to show what the difference is when you open the jars up, okay? So again, this is July 2023. The older method of blanching your tomatoes was canned July 2021. And this one here of freezing the tomatoes before canning was canned August 2022. So this one is 2 years old. The blanching one is 2 years old, and the frozen one is 1 year old. So here's what the jars look like on the sides. I hope that's coming across clear enough. So again, this one was blanched and this one was frozen before, being processed. Turn them around a little bit. See them again. So here's the frozen one. Visually, it is much more compacted and you can't hardly tell individual tomato parts. And this one is the blanched one. And visually, it looks cleaner and you can tell the individual tomatoes apart. All right, let's open them up and see what it looks like. And they're both still sealed. Okay, so here's the inside of the one that was blanched. The juice is clear. It looks good. I'll take a fork here in a minute and lift one up for you. And here is the one that was frozen before canning. It looks just fine. I mean, they both are perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. All right. Now, let's get a fork. Okay. So I'm going to take one that's sitting on top here. That was blanched. You can see it is still pretty much intact. I can actually pick it up with the fork. Okay, so this is the blanched one. Now let's get one that's sitting on the top here of the frozen one first. Okay, visually it still looks fine. You can pick it up with the fork, but it does feel more mushy. And again, this side is 2 years old, this one's 1. So the one that has been blanched first, it's more firm still than the one that was frozen. All right, gonna get another one. So again, here's the blanched one. And it's still very much solid. All right, let's get another. Okay. They feel about the same, but looking at them side by side, you can just tell that the one that was frozen first before processing, it's just more mushy than the one that was, blanched. I use both of these in the same recipes the same way. When they're cooked in something, you can tell absolutely no difference. But Visually in the jar, I do prefer the looks of the ones that had been blanched fresh instead of frozen, because they do stay, visually in the jar, they do stay more intact. It's just a better look, I think. But actually using them, it is the same. Feeling them like this, they feel the same, but you can visually see a difference in them. All right. Let me rinse my hands off. All right. So I'm going to taste one. Again, this is the blanched one. It's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Tastes like a fresh tomato. All right. I'm going to taste one that was frozen. It may have been the different types of tomatoes, possibly. That one doesn't taste as good. It's a bit more chewy and stringy. It may just be a different type of tomato. Let me try a different one. It's a little tougher to cut. Even though, and yes, this is my first time like comparing them without cooking them, so you are getting the real deal right now. So even though I do can all my tomatoes frozen first, like you'll see in the description box, that series of videos, even though I do that now because it's just so much easier than blanching, unless these are two different types of tomatoes, I don't know. I buy my tomatoes from a local farmer, and they just grow big slicing tomatoes. So that's where I get all mine, and I just can them. I think last year when I talked to her, I think she grows a couple different kind. They always look the same when I get them in the box. Some are big, some are small. So I don't know if it's a different variety, mixed in the box. I really don't know. So because I don't know about that, it could be that these don't taste as well as the blanched ones first, because maybe it's just a different variety. But these two jars, the blanched one just tastes better straight from the jar. I just wanted to give you that little comparison, just in case people were wondering what it looks like after it's set for a while of being canned, what it tastes like. If you're new, if you're thinking about freezing them or just going ahead and sticking with the hot work of blanching them. Now again, I have I have a whole year's supply of tomatoes already done up. Some are canned like this, where they were frozen first, and some are blanched like this. When I need tomatoes, I just take a jar, whichever jar, is in the rotation. I just grab a jar and then I use it however I want it. So in the final recipe product, it doesn't affect the taste. It doesn't matter. But if you were to eat tomatoes straight from a jar, assuming these are the same variety, because they were processed the same way. So assuming they're the same variety, then the ones that were blanched taste better straight from a jar. It tastes like a fresh tomato. All right. Well, I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching. You just thought I was gone. All right. So as I went to dump these out of the jar into my pot for some deer chili here shortly, I noticed as I was dumping them that I also wanted to show it to you what it looked like when it was all dumped. So right here, I hope you can see that. I really don't know. So right here on this side, these more well-defined tomatoes, those are the ones that were blanched. And over here, this more slop mush stuff, These are the ones that were frozen before processing. Okay, so there you go. Okay again, so thank you for watching and have a good day.